Hey guys, Tony here. I'm here to tell you that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be one and done for the 2017-2018 NFL playoffs. I'm also here to show you my playoff bracket with all of my picks for all 11 playoff games right before the playoffs start. I'm going to release the numbers later for each round. Last year in 2016, at this point in time, November the 20th, the Cowboys were 9-1 and the Eagles were 5-5. As you very well know, the Dallas Cowboys ended up being one and done in the playoffs as the best seed in the NFC. Ended up losing to the Green Bay Packers. Similarly, this year, it is the Cowboys instead that are 5-5 and the Philadelphia Eagles at 9-1. As you guys know, Carson Wentz ended up suffering a season-ending torn ACL. These direct parallels of both respectful teams being 5-5 and 9-1 in the last couple years is pretty fitting. And that is just proof that the Philadelphia Eagles are going to be one and done against who? The New Orleans Saints in this postseason. Also, past history, not many people will remember since this is a country of people with very short-term memories. The Saints ended up defeating the Philadelphia Eagles 26-24 in the playoffs at Lincoln Memorial Field in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in the wild card round of the 48th Super Bowl, the year that the Seattle Seahawks won. Also, do not forget that this year is the 48th modern-day Super Bowl. This 48 is something to look out for. Drew Brees has went into Philadelphia and knocked off the Philadelphia Eagles before in the playoffs. We can see history repeat itself. This graphic that I showed you is pretty damn telling. Here are my playoff picks for each respectful round. The Tennessee Titans and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Buffalo Bills and the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Kansas City Chiefs winning both of these respectful rounds. The Kansas City Chiefs would rematch against the New England Patriots. Their season began against the Patriots. Their season would end against the New England Patriots. I have the New England Patriots knocking off the Kansas City Chiefs. The Jacksonville Jaguars ended up defeating the Pittsburgh Steelers early on in the season. And it's pretty fitting that it happened that way. The Jaguars are nicknamed Saxonville because of their sacks. The Jaguars beat the Steelers early on in the season. They rematch in the playoffs. That's just how the script goes. The Steelers would end up defeating the Jacksonville Jaguars to set up the Antonio Brown moment to lead the Steelers to an AFC crown. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers defeating the New England Patriots in the title game. Antonio Brown's going to make the difference. Here in the NFC, it's going to be a very wild ride. My picks for the NFC, I have the LA Rams defeating the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints defeating the Carolina Panthers for the third time this year, which would set up the Philadelphia Eagles facing against the lower seed, the New Orleans Saints. I have the Saints winning against the Eagles, one and done, to move on to the NFC Championship game. The Minnesota Vikings, I will predict, will defeat the LA Rams in the divisional round. People would hype up the Minnesota Vikings as being the first team to play in a Super Bowl that it's hosting. But that can't happen. No home team can play in the Super Bowl because the host city has to pay for the cost of hosting a game. The whole point is to bring in wealth from outside of the host town. So you can't have one team come from out of state. You have to have two teams come from out of state. The New Orleans Saints are going to defeat the Minnesota Vikings, setting up the matchup, the Super Bowl matchup that I have the Steelers and the Saints. I have the New Orleans Saints being the Steelers in the Super Bowl with Drew Brees being Super Bowl MVP. February the 4th of 2018 adds up to 44. Drew Brees, 4-4, 4 letters. We had the Astros winning after the hurricane. We can see the team that suffered the last big hurricane, Hurricane Katrina, right before Hurricane Harvey, win the Super Bowl for a hurricane connection. And keep in mind, too, that it was the LA Dodgers that missed their chance to win a 7th World Series title. Similarly, we'll see the Pittsburgh Steelers miss out a chance to win their 7th Super Bowl title. My playoff bracket brought to you by the numbers. Cowboys 9-1, Eagles 5-5, Cowboys 1 and done. Eagles 9-1, Cowboys 5-5 this year. The Eagles are 1 and done. The New Orleans Saints knocked off the Philadelphia Eagles at Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, before under Drew Brees. That was during Super Bowl 48. This year is the 48th modern day Super Bowl. Look out for the Saints.